Welcome back to High, Wide, and Handsome, a racing podcast right here on the Arson Brothers Network. Joined by most of the gang tonight, down one man, Shawn, off tonight, traveling for some work, or so he told us.
So he says, and he sent us pictures of him eating Primanti Brothers and looking delicious.
Oh man, I hadn't even saw that, dang.
Got jealous.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. But it is me, Matt Klein, Jeff Griffith, and Michael Sizemore. We'll start with Jeff. How you doing tonight? What you been up to?
Oh, doing good, man. Doing good. I had the day off, just kind of recuperating from a weekend of crazy racing action. We've got so much to cover, and pretty good weekend overall, I have to say.
Nice.
Yeah, looking forward to talking about all of it with you guys.
Yeah.
How about you, Mr. Sizemore?
Oh, yeah, same thing. You know, been a wild weekend for racing all over the east and south. And we've been to some of it live and some of it watching and some of it listening to, and it's ready for a good show to talk about all this.
Absolutely, yeah. Super wild weekend of racing all around. We checked out, as we'll get into in the Bullring Report, Friday night at our local dirt track here, Princeton Speedway, here in Princeton, West Virginia. We're going to get into that a little more later, but we certainly had a blast. And then, man, just absolutely wild weekend in Talladega, which we're certainly going to break down. All three races. We'll get to ARCA also in the Bullring Report. Oddly, I know, but it works. Hey. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Did go out for a little birthday action over the weekend as well. It was almost my whole family's birthday, as how it falls. A good chunk anyway. My mother's, my aunt's, and crew chief Kendall's falls all within a very close time range, some on the same day. So we went out, had a little Outback Steakhouse.
I was wondering if y'all went and rode the Dente.
No, this was pre the Dente, or may have pushed for that after Sunday, certainly. But that'll transition us nicely because we got a lot of racing to break down, and we're going to get right into this thing. We'll head towards the lead lap. That puts us on the lead lap where we dissect NASCAR, and what a NASCAR weekend it was. 3 first-time winners. That's just mentioned. We'll get to ARCA in a bit, but 3 first-time winners. We'll start here with the O'Reilly Series, where we saw Corey Day finally lock down his first win in a wild race, an amazing race in my opinion. And I'm going to say it here. I think this, at least so far, was probably race of the year in any of the at least 3 NASCAR series for me. It had kind of everything you want. It felt like early 2000s era Winston Cup Talladega to me. Like, I really enjoyed this race.
And I couldn't agree more. I mean, honestly, we talk about it on here all the time, how that maybe O'Reilly might be the best series. And, I mean, if there's ever been a case for it, it was Saturday night. Yeah,
absolutely. Everybody put on a show. The race they were doing, they were 3 wide, even 4 wide for literally almost green flag to checker. We saw an amazing photo finish there in stage 1 where Carson edged out his teammate Sammy Smith. Sammy Smith in that sweet Arby's sweet barbecue ride. I thought that was a really cool looking car with that maroon and red. It looked a lot like a Dale Jr. tribute. Saw a lot of people talking about that, but it was really cool. We saw chaos, though, ensue, and we saw this building in both series, Cup and O'Reilly, over the last few years, kind of more so in Cup, but the blending after pitting with a pack of cars coming around the track at speed and a pack getting back up to speed after pitting, and that blend in and trying to block or get in front of and get up to speed has created some situations, and this one finally went too far. NASCAR did call it. We saw Jesse Love serpentining down the backstretch. I mean, he left black marks. He turned to the right so hard to get by Allgaier there. It was really wild. But we did see NASCAR finally step in. They gave Quapple and Allgaier a penalty, and Allgaier very upset. I think that's one of, if not the most I've ever saw Allgaier upset. He was crying, saying they watch the Cup race tomorrow. Basically, they'll be doing the same thing, but it didn't sway NASCAR's opinion whatsoever. And certainly hurt them in the finish of the race.
And it may have been a little bit like, I didn't see it that bad in the Cup race, so Allgaier may have been hyping up things a little bit to make it look a little better on him.
Yeah, I think we have saw it that bad, but apparently at the beginning of the year, the drivers on both series were talked about to calm that down. I don't think we've saw it as bad in the Cup this year. Yeah. But, yeah, it was pretty egregious. I mean, I get it. That's what you got to try to do. But, man, it was a wild situation. But it created a highly entertaining situation from the couch, if you will, because it was something to see. And then it set up.
Yeah, like you said, man, it's not usual to see Allgaier get upset like that. It's also, I guess, we always talk about him being a veteran of the series. Him getting almost like an infraction like that doesn't seem like something that he would fall into. I mean, you would think it more with Quapple than with him, but either way, man, he was upset. I don't really. I mean, he did. The rule was bent, and so I'm not taking up for him on this. I'm just saying he was upset.
Yeah, I mean, I think it probably is time to start enforcing that, as we have saw those dangerous situations, and those two just became the example for NASCAR, and it was really not just whoever probably was in that situation would have became the example there, because I think most would have done the same thing going in, but we'll probably see that calm down a bit now, and that's the goal of it, so. But it did set up. We saw a wild one coming to the white flag, 3 wide, Mayor Dane, Sheldon Creed. And then that ensued the big one behind them all, and Corey Day, under caution, ends up with the win. But, I mean, he was right there. Certainly no shenanigans. Yeah. I think he was quite surprised. Said never in a million years did he think he would get his first win on a super speedway.
Yeah, Corey Day had a heck of a week. I mean, he won Tuesday night in sprint cars, and then gets his first NASCAR O'Reilly Series win on Saturday. And really he is kind of a guy you don't expect to see on the speedways. I mean, just coming from that Larson tree of racing. Larson kind of the same boat, not a huge super speedway guy, but good for him. Got out there and raced hard in that last restart, and then he held it off, had a good run.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, all those Junior Motorsports Hendrick whatever cars, Hendrick engines even, were very quick all day. So, I mean, any of those could have took that one, I feel like. But now that Corey has that win off his back, you've heard it said, and, I mean, we saw it even recently with Connor Zilic in the O'Reilly Series. Once you start winning, he might go on a tear. He's been really close, and especially this season. So it's going to be fun to see where that goes, even the rest of the season now.
I was going into the race. We were watching the qualifying live from the dirt track the other night. I had really high hopes for Josh Williams, but he kind of faded pretty quick.
Yeah, shout out to those DGM cars, though. They laid down some good laps, qualified good.
And if I'm not mistaken, I know we've been paying a lot of attention to the guys at Alpha Prime. I think Brendan Poole ended up with a 15th, didn't he?
Yes, he did. So big top 15 for Alpha Prime there, Brendan Poole, and that keeps Brennan. Let's see where that keeps him in the points. Should keep him pretty solid. I got that right here. 16th in the points, so he's just right there, hanging right in for that smaller team. And LeVar Scott, speaking of those, end up 24th, which for a rookie, and judging by that chaotic finish, that's nothing to shout out. Also, I'll get some shout outs to Jeremy Clements, ended up 5th, a huge run, great day for that team. Dean Thompson, Sam Hunt Racing 6th. Good finish for them. Parcher Retzloff ended up back in 9th, held on. We've talked about him a lot here in this show. And J.J. Yaley in that Hedinger Ford, the only Ford in the field, ended up 11th. I thought that was a really cool story.
That's impressive.
And worth noting, as of at least now, they are, not to cut you off there, they are at least as of now, not racing this coming O'Reilly race at Texas, and that will be the first time an O'Reilly race has no Fords since the finale in 1991.
Wow.
Or Martinsville 91, maybe not the finale, maybe the finale. Since late 91, anyway.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a really odd and interesting situation. Ford seemingly completely giving up on the O'Reilly series.
It really seems like it, man. I mean, you have to wonder, like, do they not want to have some guys in development like what we see with Toyota and Chevy with these young guys? I mean, I don't know. They're just not going into it like I would think they would, because there's so much young talent springing up. Snatch some of that up and develop it.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and they're certainly different from the others. Chevy's development pretty deep, at least, and Toyota's very deep. They're heavy in the dirt track, short track world, which, I mean, Chevy's ingrained in racing fully all around. They're always kind of in that. Half of the engines in every car is a Chevrolet when you get down to the lower series and stuff, but Ford just non-existent in that, really.
It's kind of crazy.
A little bit in the trucks, also, I guess. Maybe they're putting them all their focus to the truck series, but
yeah, possibly, yeah.
But still an odd choice.
Did want to also shout out in the O'Reilly race. Jed Burton ran really well all day until he got caught up in that at the end. And I also want to say another guy that did, you wouldn't expect to have had such a strong performance on super speedway, because I think it was maybe his first ever. Brent Cruz, really good day for him as well. So. Yeah, speaking of Toyota development guys.
Yeah, ended up second. I mean, Brent's he's phenomenal. I don't know what more you can say about that. It's insanely impressive what he's done already, and I think there's much, much more to come.
I mean, I think I said it to you, but man, like, that race was so good the other night, though, that it was one of those ones that it's like I almost didn't even care who won, because I was just so excited with watching all of the racing from all of the fields. Everyone putting on such a good performance, just so much good racing. It really was. I think it's the race of the year, man. I'm 100% with you.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Everyone done a really good job, put on a great show, and raced so hard and so kind of old school Talladega like we want all day. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And, I mean, cool to see a first-time winner. It's always... Even like the driver, don't like the driver, it's usually a fun moment to see a first-time winner, as we certainly saw the next day as well.
I was a little more excited for the one on Sunday than the one on Saturday.
Well, that's fair, I suppose, and we'll get right into it. We'll move along to the Cup Series action from Talladega, where we saw the Hurricane, Carson Hocevar, finally get that first win of his career in a pretty wild race. We'll get to the post-race shenanigans after we break this thing down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he won a race that was racing against like 3/4 of the field. Over a quarter of the field got put behind the wall there pretty early on.
Yeah, no doubt.
Some big names.
That first, we'll first start out with the pit debacles in the early part of the race, as we saw. I don't know how many cars there with pit trouble and speeding and different issues. Pit road would set up for some situations. Some guys in the back, JGR and the Fords, really. That kind of flipped everything on its head to create that big one a bit, in a way, if you ask me, because it put some guys up there that weren't up there in a bit of a way. And we did see the fuel saving. We'll touch on that as well, that they were trying to eliminate by adjusting the stages. We did see it very heavily in stage one. I saw a ton of criticism on that. I think I mean, I think after the big one, everyone was go, go, go. There was nothing left of that. There was a little saving. It was kind of big saving, then a mix of saving, I felt like, in the middle, which created the big one, in all honesty, because everyone was so just jumped together and snudged up, which we'll break that down more. And then the end, though, was all let go. But I think that was going to be the situation no matter how they broke up the stages with the current package and the cars. I do hear they're looking at things to adjust that more so probably for next year, so we'll see. I don't know, but certainly still some fuel saving deals.
Yeah, I think they put up a graphic there early in the race, and a lot of the guys were running 50 to 60%. And I mean, I guess if you're gonna do the fuel saving, the fact that they did it, the first stage mainly, I'd rather have it there than see it later on in the race.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with that certainly. I think it's a decent effort at trying something.
Yeah.
But certainly more to go. But it did create that jumble up, which to me created the big one. We saw Logano push into Blaney, push into Bell, push into Chastain, a massive push that pushed into Bubba Wallace, who was leading at the time. And Bubba, and for that matter, all the Toyotas pretty much had been noting all day, too, how loose they were when they were being pushed. Yeah. I think several Toyota drivers commented even after the race saying they've got some stuff to work on there. But I don't know if anyone could miss that massive push on that one, as Bubba's, I mean, when he got the push, his back wheels were totally off the ground. He's essentially floating at that point. Sent him hard into the wall and collected, 50% of the field? 20-some cars?
Actually involved in it. I would say at least half the cars on the field, were involved. Most of them got back out, but there were still, probably 5, 6, maybe more cars that didn't even get out after that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ones that didn't come back out were heavy hitters, man.
Yeah, some big name drivers that was out for the day.
Yeah, there was solid. Looks like closer to 10, 12 cars totally out of the race.
Was it? Yeah.
It's like when that happened, it just started, and it just kept happening. The length of it, and as it was going on, I was like, I don't want. Yeah. And then when I saw the 4 cars, the 4 cars drive off, I was like, what if they just have 4 cars left? That's what it looked like at first.
It did for a second, and no, not quite that many cars out of the race size. You're more correct. I'll adjust that. But yeah, it looked for a second like we're just going to have just a handful of cars for a minute. Certainly was wild to see, though, and set up for the cars that were left. I thought created for a very fun last of that, though. Some very hard racing. We saw some guys up front that aren't always up front or haven't been recently battling.
Yeah.
And then go for
Ty Gibbs, think he could make it back out there in that last all of 3 laps.
Yeah, he had a hard impact. Oh, a hard impact.
That was nasty. Yeah.
Yeah, that was brutal. Glad to see he was okay. Some brutal hits all around all weekend, really. And every race down there, which, I mean, that is Dega, But coming to the finish, we saw, and I thought it was Buescher and Hocevar kind of battling. I really thought we were going to see Chase Elliott, who was in the 3rd row on the top side, pull up to the high, and Stenhouse, who was running there, who was the master of sneaking in these restrictor plate or super speedway wins. I thought they were going to jump high and do a little Chevy deal there and pass both of them, but it was not to be, as they kind of spread, and I saw Chase go low, and then everyone just spread, and it just allowed Carson to zoom right on in for his first victory.
Yeah, because, I mean, Ricky's going to do what he can. He's not afraid of wrecking that car or wrecking other cars to make a decision that he thinks is going to help him win a race. And I just kept waiting on Ricky to do something, and he just kind of stayed in line there.
I felt like he was waiting for Chase, thinking Chase was coming with the 9. Yeah. I don't know that, obviously, but that was kind of what I felt like. And then Chase ended up going low when they spread at one point. I don't know, but
I think, too, another thing I noticed, he wasn't able to take a push as good, but he was given a good push. Was Eric Jones giving a really good push to Buescher? And I do think that once Eric Jones got taken out with when Carson just kind of got into him there a little bit, I think that was probably the biggest blow to Buescher, actually, because that was the only guy that really seemed to be working that hard with Buescher. this was a bittersweet race for me, man, because I mean, there was a big part of me that was just like so excited for Buescher. I was wanting Buescher to get that win, and but I also was. I do love Carson, and it was very exciting to see. So that was the finish of that race was just insane, and that wreck that happened there at the end when Chase Briscoe kind of swerved and then got into Priest. Priest hit that wall hard too, man.
Yeah.
That was. But he didn't go flying this time, so good on that. We didn't see astronaut Priest. But,
save that one for Daytona.
Yeah. But now, I mean, just overall, like you said, man, seeing some guys that we don't usually see running up front. I'm not saying I'm happy that half the field got taken out by any means, but it was really cool to see some of those guys running up front and stuff. Yeah. But just overall, a really interesting day. And I will say, I mean, Ryan Preece, I know you picked him last week to be the first time winner. And he did get that first stage win.
Yeah.
And he was, I think he was in contention all day, but he was there at the end. He wasn't going to get up front, but that could have been Buescher's. But big ups to Hocevar, man, and a really important moment. I think an important weekend for NASCAR. Really, I think you saw the social media today. What happened with Hocevar after that celebration? This is getting picked up everywhere. The day before, the person that almost won the ARCA race. We'll get to that in a minute. I think this was an important weekend, and all of this couldn't have happened at a better place than Talladega. This all just kind of fit the vibe. And I think this is something that, like we've been hearing about the Hell Yeah campaign, I think this was the beginning. Like this is like the personification of what they were looking for. And I think that celebration, everything about it, this is something that we're going to be seeing forever. This is a new highlight reel. That's an all-time moment we saw last night. So it's pretty cool.
NASCAR's going to ban it, and then we're going to see it more times when we see Hail Melon.
As of now, Steve O'Donnell said NASCAR is cool with it.
Yeah,
I just don't see that happening for, like, NASCAR's cool with it now until somebody else does it again, and then they're like, okay, if people keep doing this, somebody is bound to get hurt. Like, it's not a safe celebration. We'll get to the celebration later. I'll say that.
Well, we're about there. Before we get there, we'll touch on some guys that did get some good finishes out of this. Zane Smith with a fifth. Of course, we mentioned Stenhouse ended up sixth. You wouldn't think a seventh is a big deal for Ross Chastain, but at this point, a seventh is a pretty big deal for Ross Chastain. Noah Gragson with a ninth, and kind of the same vibe there. Kyle Busch with a 10th. That's a huge deal. And worth noting there, as of today, news, Kyle Busch with a crew chief change. Andy Street, who took over at the end of the duties there last year, is back. Jim Poyam has apparently been moved to some role in the competition director role at RCR. I don't know the exact role, but so crew chief change there after that 10th.
Weirdest celebration I've ever heard of to celebrate a top 10 is fire your crew chief. But yeah,
we'll see how that's combination.
You wouldn't think a top 5 finish for a Hendrick Motorsports team would be something to celebrate, but for Bowman it was. I mean, it's good to see Bowman actually come back after, that horrible bout with vertigo and his first race back. He didn't do a whole lot, but got a good look there at Talladega. Did he finish fourth? Where was I?
Third.
Didn't look different. Third, yeah. Third place finish for Bowman. I mean,
it's huge.
It's a good little comeback for him. I hope he can build off of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was very good to see as well. I thought SVG ran really good for most of the day, and it was even there late, got caught up in one of those late rate incidents. End up 20th, but I thought he looked pretty impressive on the drafting track. He seems to like the drafting style and getting better at it, I think, is something to know. And I want to give a shout out to the 66 car. Chad Fincham got up there and early in the race and really ran good. Was up near the front and at the front at one point.
He had a good look there, stage one.
Thought that was kind of cool to see. Before we get to that post, we'll mention the points. Reddick still up 110 over Hamlin. We saw Hocevar jump into 8th, Buescher to 7th. As far as some guys moving around, Priest 13th. Ross jumped to 18th, a little bit of a game for him with that 7th.
And I did notice, man, on the Buescher, he is only 6 points behind Kyle Larson for fifth, or for sixth or fifth. That's crazy to think. Buescher, just by being consistent like he's been all season, he's knocking on the door of jumping over last year's champion in the points.
Oh yeah, RFK extremely consistent, and I think if Brad hadn't been involved in that yesterday, he would have been a factor. Even I think all three of those Fords were very fast again.
Yep.
I think this point system favors all three of those. That whole team style. Honestly, they're just gritty grinders, and that's kind of what this format, gives more reward for, I suppose.
Absolutely.
All right, now we'll get into Carson Hocevar's wild post-race celebration, where we saw him ghost ride the whip, if you will, hanging out of the door there. Almost got into the inside wall trying to get the steering wheel back on, so he did not have a steering wheel on. He said that one kind of freaked him out. I did hear him say something about that. He thought the inside wall was coming. But then he got it on, got the wheel on, and it was on, drove that thing around. It was an amazing visual. Yes, it was dangerous, as we mentioned. And then especially drove it into the wall and then let her rip, burnout on the wall, fans going wild. That's about the loudest I've heard fans in a minute. We mentioned earlier this year when Chase won, but man, there might be a contender right there, because that was wild. And certainly the wildness of the post-race celebration, I think, helped. And just Talladega in general. It had been a wild weekend down there. The boulevard, all the videos coming out of there. I mean, it always is, but like people were hyped up, and that just kept that energy up. It was awesome to see. It was really cool. Like you said, Jeff, I think it was a historic moment. We're going to see that in highlight packages for years and years to come.
It was cool, and I loved it, and I really hope nobody does it again, because really one mistake there, and his back of his head is gushing blood on that track.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I legitimately don't believe there's many drivers that are tall enough to try this.
Yeah, that's true.
So as long as he can perfect it, I don't know that we have to worry about too many. Like, we're not going to see Tyler Reddick doing it.
SVG already has his thing. He's the other guy that might be tall enough. He's already punting rugby balls into the crowd.
Yeah.
But did you guys see the fan throw him a beer? And I was watching that thinking, oh my God, if he catches this beer and chugs it while hanging out the car driving it, it will be the best and dumbest thing I've ever seen on television.
Yes. And I wish he could have grabbed it. He made an effort for it.
So sad he didn't get it, man. That could have been the moment of all time right there.
It was an incredible moment. Even onward in Victory Lane. Did you see that video? He was pulling in. The race director was basically telling him to stop on, and he just lit the tires up again. They were just like, no! They don't care. Man, it was really cool. Talk about a huge first win. That was it. And I mean, if Carson has the potential, you've heard it all around, everyone's talking right now, the potential to be a superstar, and it is true. You like it really or lump it, it is true. He has to keep winning, though. That's the thing. You got to keep winning.
Carson has the personality to attract fans, as we've seen. Even without a win this year, I would say in merch sales and popularity, he's probably top 5 in Cup Series. And now that he has the win, now that the talent's proven that it matches the personality, this guy could be a mega star.
Yeah.
Well, I can attest personally, this hat, I was lucky to find this when we went to Rockingham. This hat is next to impossible to find online. It's just completely sold out everywhere. His die casts, which, by the way, he last night actually crashed the Lionel website with people trying to pre-order the Intimidente car. Want to shout out real quick. Listener of the show, Christian Hull, sending me pictures from the Lionel store a minute right before we went on the air. Nice. He was sending me pictures of the Kyle Busch's own car. He's like, "Hey, you want this?" So, anyways, wanted to give a shout out to Christian. But just Carson's I think just the merchandise and stuff. We're seeing. It's been building. We saw people buying this stuff like crazy at Rockingham. I mean, if it wasn't Cleetus shirts, it was Carson stuff that we saw people buy. I feel like. I think he wins most popular driver over Chase. He's going to be the first guy to be able to topple Chase with that most popular driver. It's just building so crazy.
Yeah, until they open the sealed ballots of the 500 million people who showed up to the Dawsonville pool hall to cast a vote.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. But if anybody's got the potential right now, I think that's it, certainly.
Carson's the guy that young people have been looking for in the sport for a while. I mean, we've had so many good drivers with just very milquetoast personalities, and are they naturally that way? Are they have it beaten to their head by sponsors and publicists and whatever to be that way? I don't know, but it's been that way for over a decade. A lot of your big bow tie guys who Shawn loves, so he ain't here so I can talk about them, are just the most boring dudes in the world to listen to talk. And now you've got this young kid out there in his Western suit with fake cowboy boot pants, hanging up the car, ghost riding the Dente, as I think Jeff said yesterday. And people are eating it up. And he's a good driver. So this could be huge for NASCAR, I think.
And him and Cleetus have become good friends.
Yeah.
Speaking of, and we'll get more to obviously on Cleetus in the ARCA race, but I mean, that just builds your brand being associated with any of that world. So,
yeah, I saw the press conference. Cleetus called him during the press conference after the race and chatting on the phone.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Carson, 23 years old, that's roughly his 90th Cup career start. We'll draw a comparison there. Ty Gibbs, your other recent first-time winner this year, it was about his, I think, 130th Cup start. Question asked by Size today, we'll ask it here. Who gets their second win first, Ty Gibbs or Carson Hocevar?
Well, I know who everybody wants to get their second win first. The absolute boring robot clone manufactured in a lab driver, or the young kid with a personality. I think Carson gets it. I think Carson pulls it off. I think he gets one on 1.5 miles next.
There you go.
I think you're right. I mean, there's one thing that you hear constantly is if you see guys that are consistently running near the top 5, wins are coming. We've really saw that with both of these guys all year. I mean, Ty Gibbs and Carson have consistently ran around the top 5, even if the finishes don't always show that because of incidents or what have you. But I just think Carson, I think he's going to get the next one because I think he's just reckless enough at times, but also, by the way, I do want to mention real quickly, how weird is it that one of the people that was pushing Carson last night towards that win was Ricky Stenhouse, considering last year and the beef between them. I kept thinking about that. I was like, how weird that we came full circle here to Ricky Stenhouse helping push Carson Hocevar to his first win at Talladega. But anyway, I do think Carson Hocevar probably gets it next. But I mean, it could be Ty, but I'm going with Carson.
I mean, we do have a road course coming up in 2 weeks. We got Watkins Glen, so Ty could pull one off on a road course. I mean, he's a good road course driver.
Yeah, I think you're both wrong. And Jeff, you almost said it. Yes, both have ran top 5, top 10, but only one has finished top 5 for almost every race this season. Ty Gibbs is being much more consistent in getting finishes. Is Carson cleaning that up? Yes, obviously, and yesterday proved it. But I think the next one, I think there's a better shot of Ty getting his next one first and being realistic.
Man, here comes Matt with realism and bringing us back down to ground. But yeah, you're probably right.
I'm going to stand 10 toes down and say Ty Gibbs never wins another one.
Whoa! Whoa! Wow!
I did not expect him to get the first. I think it was a fluke win, and I don't see him ever winning another. I don't think he is going to be a multi-win driver in NASCAR.
Wow. Okay. I'm not willing to go that far.
Since Shawn's not here, I'll say it. That's a clickbait line if I ever heard one. But I love it. I love a clickbait. I love a hot take.
Well, when Ty Gibbs retires with one win under his belt, well, I don't know what type of streaming
you think Ty
service
Gibbs
will
is...
exist. Then we'll beam this clip right into your brain from your Neuralink router or whatever. That kid will retire in like 30 more years.
You think Ty Gibbs is the new Austin Dillon? Gets a few wins maybe here and there.
Okay, he may have the Austin, because it's Austin Dillon with better equipment.
Yeah, yeah, that's hard to argue that Gibbs' equipment's better.
When Austin retires and gets put in the front office of RCR, then maybe Ty will become the new Richmond King.
There you go. Hot take indeed. All right, before we move off from NASCAR, we will quickly touch in on our fantasy league, where we saw Jeff ride. He rode the Dente with Carson to a win in fantasy. Congratulations, sir!
First win of the season, man. It's a weekend of first time winners, and me and Carson, we pulled it off.
That puts you really close. You and Size now. You're 2 points behind him for fourth place.
I had two cars on the track at the end of the race yesterday, so
yeah, the big one ruined. I mean, it really ruined everyone. It was who had the best pieces left.
Yeah.
I'm in a nice little bubble still in third, and our crew chief Kendall still leading, but he actually gained a little on second place Shawn this weekend, but they're still at least fairly tight, 30 points or so.
Well, boys, y'all call him Kyle Busch, a former champion who's just barely holding on now, running from last place.
Got to pick
you gonna fire your crew chief?
Yeah,
you need to make an adjustment, brother.
I'm gonna go to T-Mobile and get a new phone. This thing's messing me up.
Fun stuff always, though. Play NASCAR Fantasy through NASCAR.com. And we mentioned last year we'll look next year, although while off, at a fan league here.
Absolutely. I will say that I genuinely, you guys don't know how close I came to doing the shoey tonight. I genuinely thought about doing it, and I was like, that might be too far. But I'll save that for my next win. I don't want to take away from Carson's big celebration by doing one on here. So
there you go. Keep that one in the bank.
Yeah.
Also, you won Father's Day last weekend. That was your first win ever, or last year.
First win. This is my first win of the season. So.
Yeah.
So
I'm already one up on Ty Gibbs.
That's right.
There you go. That's your shot at your friend Joe Gibbs there, huh? All right, that'll wrap up
Oh yeah.
the lead lap for the week. That puts us on the Bull Ring Report, where we look at dirt tracking, short tracking, and ARCA. It's just a good place for it, but that's what we're going to start with. Huge ARCA race at Talladega. We saw what was actually the first-time winner of the weekend at Talladega, Andy Jakowski, rode home a huge first win. I like Andy J. I thought this was cool to see. He's still well known for the viral clip from a few years ago at Daytona where he says, "I'm just going to put my foot on the floor whether I see the God or the checkered flag." And he did that just yesterday or Saturday for the win, but it was awesome to see. We got to talk about Cleetus, though. Ended up second and ran by far his best race that we saw him. He looked good in the draft. Saw a few interesting moments, but Cleetus ran a good race there. I think he still could have potentially had a shot to win had he stayed in line and waited for a push to come, but got a little overzealous there. And that's a what if, obviously, but it was really cool to see that.
Yeah, it's a good run for Cleetus, and the guy's getting better at ARCA, and that's what you want to see. I'm happy for him. I mean, you said it was the best race we've seen him run. I think the best race we saw him run was this weekend on motorized coolers with Marshawn Lynch. As far as official races, you might be right.
Yeah, that was cool to see as well. The Boulevard was on fire this weekend. Lots of drivers and NASCAR personnel and stuff out there. That's what you like to see. I think we're getting more of that all around. And I heard our new CEO, Steve O'Donnell, actually just talking about that on the Teardown today. So pretty interesting. But nonetheless, we did see a huge crash in this thing. The big one happened in ARCA as well, I guess, to no huge surprise necessarily. But we saw Squirrel McNutt. He got his nuts busted. Man, it was brutal. He had a brutal lick. I thought you could tell even in the interview, while it was very entertaining, I thought you could tell he was a little shook up. And I mean, I would be too. My goodness, that was brutal. But
yeah.
Goodness. But shout out again to the women of ARCA. Isabella Robusto ended up fourth, had a shot at winning the thing there late, and Taylor Reimer as well ended up sixth. So 2 women in the top 10 again. Very cool to see.
ARCA's got quite a few women that are really making some noise there. It's really cool to see.
Women of talent. I mean, legit talent. And I love seeing it. I think we're finally to a point where we're starting to see that more and more in the sport. And it's good to see and good for the sport.
And I think just the fact that there's that many of them with talent that are developing there in ARCA, it's inevitable that you're going to see that trickle on up to a higher series. I think they're going to be ready for that moment. And it's not going to be that they're getting pushed because they are a woman. It's going to be that they're getting pushed because they're a badass driver that just happens to be a woman. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And both of those women, Isabella and Taylor, there, much like we talked about yesterday, they're 2 women that kind of drive everything. They're all over the place driving a lot of stuff. And I think that's very good to grow that talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Taylor probably getting some good info from Corey Haim as well. I don't mean that in any facetious way, other than that's a nice tool to have handy for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, awesome stuff in ARCA. Congratulations again to Andy J. We don't want to overshadow his first win with the Cleetus stuff, and I know it kind of did there a little bit, and you hate to see that because I think Andy J.'s a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, he's real cool, man. I love the fact that they said he still delivers pizzas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. Threw on the bandana. And, what's not to like about the guy, you know? So, a really cool win. I did know, did you see where Carson came on Cleetus's radio and told him, he's like, when you made that pass, he said it sounded like Dale Jr. making a pass with the crowd. And I was like, well, we saw that in person. We know that's true.
Yeah.
I think we kind of commented something similar to that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really the Cleetus effect, if you will. It's really wild. I mean, he was celebrating, jumping up and down on top of the car for his second place, which, shoot, I would be too. But,
yeah,
I mean, he's going wild. Really cool to see. Fun ARCA race at Talladega. We'll move on, though. We'll touch on the Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series. Our favorite late model series. Size and I actually threw their Friday night race on when we got home from Princeton Speedway on Friday night, which we're getting to. We threw it on, and it was literally the Devin Moran show dominated that one.
It was. I mean, we threw it on, and RTJ, Ricky Thornton Jr., he was out pretty early, which was, I'm sure, was a big blow there to the, fighting for the lead. But, yeah, Moran dominated that thing.
Yeah. And it was, then they ran again on Sunday night at Hagerstown, and it was a similar story for another driver. Brandon Shepard kind of put on a clinic there with a dominating run. So 2 dominating races for drivers in the Lucas Oil Series over the weekend. But, I mean, props to those guys.
Sunday night, and I thought Moran was going to make us come a run there, but there was just such a lead that he got in that second race, man. So, good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. I always love any Lucas Oil Late Model Series race.
Yeah.
Good stuff indeed. We'll we'll mention quickly, too, we'll just touch on it, the high limit race there on Tuesday. We did see Corey Day win that on FS1. They're racing again this Tuesday. I don't think it's on FS1, though, actually, this time and this midweeker. I'm not 100% on that, though, but I couldn't really find that it was today. I was looking around a little bit, so maybe not.
Couldn't afford to get the whole season on there.
Yeah, I thought this whole midweek season, whatever they call was, but I guess it's a little split and miss, which there are several of these. We'll move on. The Cars Tour had action. Supposed to have been Saturday night action. Rain sent that into a Sunday show at Caraway Speedway. But we saw in the Pro Late Models, Caden Honeycutt, in his week off from the Truck Series, went down and got him a big win in the Pro Late Model feature. He actually ran both of the races, but put off a win there in the first one. Took the lead around halfway, survived a wild string of late cautions. It got pretty kind of wild there late in this one. I watched it back today, but good win for Caden Honeycutt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then that moved him on to the Pro Late Models, the main show there, where we saw Landen Lewis, who we also see occasionally in the Truck Series. He was penalized at one point from the lead, went literally all the way to the back, drove back to the front, and won the race. Pretty impressive stuff from Landen Lewis.
Yeah, I watched the highlights of that one. I guess he got penalized over the choose.
Yeah, he
put him back.
He hit the and I guess not the choose cone, the choose line or whatever, didn't fully choose, and that is a penalty. NASCAR used to call that when we first started choosing pretty stricter, but you can watch now, and they definitely do not call it. See it all the time, but they were strict in the Car Store with that this weekend.
Very impressive drive from Lewis, man, to be able to come back from that and pick up the win. But they were getting pretty wild in that one, man. I mean, towards the end, there's a lot of beating and banging and guys going for it. I know Minnie Tyrell, I think he ended up either out of the race or he might as well have been. But,
he ended up with heavy issue there. And the Car Store they've been beating and banging. They've been pretty tough all season this year. So we've saw and talked about here several times. But it's good stuff, fun for us to watch. But yeah, that Landen Lewis crew, that was Kevin Harvick Incorporated Cars. Kevin Harvick, the car owner there. Certainly worth noting. But I think Lewis got a ton of talent as well. I think he's somebody to watch coming forward.
I agree.
And I saw a synthesizer today, and I don't have his name, Blair or something like that. Maybe a guy from Coburn, Virginia, down Sizes neck of the wood, was in the Pro Late Model race for the Car Store.
Wow. It's pretty cool. You sent me that. I've been to look it up and see if I look on like the Lonesome Pine page and see if he's listed on any of their recent winter stuff. Because I mean, if you're from Coburn, Norton, and you're not running Lonesome Pine, what you doing, bud?
Yeah, I would imagine most likely, yeah. But I thought that was cool, certainly. All right, we'll move on to our big Friday night out. So we spent Friday night at our local dirt track here in Princeton, West Virginia, Princeton Speedway. An awesome night of racing. They had a pretty good car count show up, several late models, huge class of legends. I think there's like 16 of those. Some awesome racing. We saw a photo finish in the Outlaw Street division. That finish was wild. Jeff Crawford in that 87 Monte Carlo edged out Jesse Raines in the 25 photo finish. We were going wild for that one.
Probably the best finish I've ever seen at like a local short track. Like turn 4 pass, like right going into the flag stand. Got it. It was hot.
I remember at that moment you looked at me and said that was worth the price of admission for that moment.
It really was.
Yeah.
I would argue it was that and the fried bologna sandwiches that you made before. But yes.
Those were phenomenal. I will agree with that.
We had some good bologna sandwiches.
Yeah.
We did. We saw Henry Hornsby III in the Pro Late win and Bill Pritchard in the Sport Mods. We talked about them as we discussed their opening last week, and they backed that up with wins. But it was a super fun night out. It's always great. Get out to your local dirt tracks, your local short tracks. You're in our region, come out to Princeton Speedway. We're going to get out there as much as we can, of course, this season, but super fun. And, I mean, quite affordable for an evening out, in my opinion, honestly.
Yeah. see, we're recording this today, Monday. What is today? The 27th of April. I think, didn't you put earlier today up some footage on the socials on Talk and Insta Reels, Facebook Reels of the racing action there at Princeton? So if you want to get an idea for what we were seeing on Friday night and you want to come out and check it yourself, go to the socials and look at those videos.
Yeah, absolutely. Put up a little kind of highlight package just this evening, actually. But definitely.
And there was such a great, like a really good turnout as far as we parked along the outer wall, I guess, the upper bank there. And a lot of people do that. And that's a really good way to watch. I mean, you can just kind of tailgate from up there and watch it. But I did notice the stands had quite a few people towards the end of the night, too. Towards the middle of the night. And that track is really just doing good things. And, I mean, only the second week of the season, things like already going that well. I can't even imagine how well things could end up by the end of the season.
Yeah, I hope they keep drawing the crowds that they drew Friday night. I hope they, stay full and they can, only go up if they keep doing the right things like that and bringing people in. And I noticed a lot of youths there, which normally, if I'm in a place and there's a lot of youths, I don't like it. And I still didn't like it, but I felt good about it. At least the youths are going to a race. I would rather not have to be around the youths, but I'm glad they're there.
Yeah, definitely good to see. There was a lot of like teens and such hanging out everywhere in big packs, and it's good for the track in general, and hopefully good for the future of it as well.
Yeah,
I think it's good for racing in general. That's another sign. I'm telling you, everything's pointing to this, man. Racing it's picking up with the young people, and that's only good for the future of the sport.
I guess that means I have to be around more young people.
That just gives you a chance to use your grumpy old man gear.
That's right. All right, before we close out the Bullring Report, we'll rapid fire off some other races that went down over the weekend. There's always so much. World of Outlaws at the legendary Knoxville Raceway. David Gravel, Victory Lane. Saw the Big Cat Brad Sweet in victory one night down there as well. Mars Late Models at an Illinois-Indiana double header. Ryan Guston, one of those, and Ryan Unsicker, another one. USAC Midgets kicked off their season. I saw Justin Grant won one night of that. I got to watch. Not sure about the second night. Locally, Beckley Motor Speedway had a big event, as well as Pulaski County Motorsports Park. So lots of racing, and that's just some of it we're touching on.
Yeah.
But good stuff all around. Again, get out to your local tracks and have fun. It would be
impossible to cover it all.
Yeah. There's so much. We'll do what we can. But we love it. Get out to your tracks. We'll wrap up this week's Bullring Report. That puts us on the cool down lap. We're going to take our victory lap and wind this thing out. So I don't know if we're going to ghost ride anything, though. But before we do that, our newest segment here, we're going to do Scheme of the Week, where you pick a paint scheme from any car that raced on any track this weekend and name your favorite. So this week we'll start. Scheme of the Week, we'll start with you, Size.
Well, I'm scheming and dreaming of a nice can of beef ravioli. My favorite scheme of the week was the 47 Ricky Stenhouse Chef Boyardee car. Love that red with the green writing. And I love some canned pasta. So, obviously, had to choose the Chef Boyardee car.
Very nice. Yeah, I love that from Hayek Motorsports. Jeff, what's your scheme of the week?
Man, I'm going outside the world of NASCAR this week. My shirt should be a clue to what I'm picking, but it would be Overton in his Lucas Oil late model Budweiser Dale Earnhardt Jr. scheme. That's maybe my all-time favorite scheme, and seeing that on that car was just perfect. Watching those highlights, I was pulling for him to win so bad just because I wanted to see that car in victory lane. So I'm going with that.
Yeah, I love that Chevy from Riggs Motorsports. That thing was so hot. For my scheme of the week, I'm going NASCAR this week, but someone you may not expect. I'm going with Joey Gase in the New York Racing Cup car, the Sparky.org Chevy. That thing was so cool looking for a low team there for me, but I thought they had a cool scheme. Good stuff.
Shawn texted me and said his favorite scheme was Ty Dillon's Grizzly scheme. Made him want to just pack a lip full. So all throughout the race, he's just jonesing for a big old lipper after seeing that scheme.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that sounds right. I'll mention some. Well, y'all took two that were on my list. All three of that were said were on my list. I also had some alternatives. Eric Jones's Doritos Toyota. I thought that was pretty sweet. And I actually like Cleetus McFarland's Mr. Sam Spray Wax for it. I love Mr. Sam from their channel, so I thought that was really cool as well.
Well, believe it or not, I had an alternate here that might shock you. My next one on the list, because this was the one that was like maybe the most loved and hated at the same time. From here. And that was Noah Gregson's PBR Grillo's pickle car. Because how do you take something that I love so much and something that I hate so much, combine them, but make it look so pretty? So, got to give a shout out to that car. And I will never drink a pickle beer.
I will drink a pickle beer, and that was actually on my list as well. I almost went with that, but I wanted to give a shout out to that New York racing team. I thought they showed up with something cool and deserved a shout.
I'm going to drink 7 of those pickle beers
6,
at one time. And I also like the guy who had WW on his car at Princeton Speedway. I assume it was a Walter White scheme. I don't know.
Yeah, you were a big fan of that Walter White scheme the other night.
Hey,
and the legend car that was painted Hardy's car.
Hardy's legend car.
Yeah, the Hardy's legend car too.
Yeah, that was actually really sharp. That was genuinely
it was beautiful.
Cool. Good stuff. Yeah, lots of good schemes. We live in a time for good raps, if you will.
Yeah.
But that's all right.
Livery.
Yeah, there you go. All right, and one more bit of business before we go home, as we are headed to Texas Motor Speedway for weekend of NASCAR. Trucks, O'Reilly, and Cup headed there, correct? Is O'Reilly going? I think so.
I'm not sure. I know trucks are.
Yeah, trucks definitely are. But nonetheless, we're talking Cup here, as we have to pick our winners for the Cup Series race at Texas. Jeff, we'll start with you.
Well, he almost won yesterday. He's a Texas boy. I'm going to have to say, the man, the myth, the legend gets his first win of the season. Mr. Buescher, Chris Buescher, bringing it home.
Excellent choice. Home win for Buescher. What about you, Size?
Hey, in Texas, Bob Willis may still be the king, but Denny Hamlin's the prince. Most wins at Texas than any active driver. So, Denny Hamlin taking it at Texas.
Denny Hamlin, I think that is a fine choice. I'm going to go with Tyler Reddick. Gets back in victory lane and makes more people cry.
When you said Ty for a minute, I thought you were going to say Ty Gibbs. And I was like, man, you're going against Size already.
Well, we did have a send-in from Shawn, who said he was taking Ty Gibbs this week. So
he did. It is actually verifiable in text message. We're not making this one up for once.
For once.
It says, my pick for Texas is the best young driver in NASCAR and probably my all-time favorite driver, Ty Gibbs. Right there.
Wow.
Confirmed. Wow, there you go, guys. So take that how you will. Who knew? Breaking news. Shawn. He has abandoned Hendrick for Joe Gibbs Racing and Ty Gibbs. Mark it down.
Wow. Did not see that coming. But
no. I assume he's going to come home from this trip in a Tundra. He's mentioned it before.
He has.
We just wanted to be pulling a campers while we were.
Yeah.
You bring me some of that pastrami from Tremonti Brothers.
Yeah, I'll take that. All right, guys. Started at the beginning, and now we're at the end. That's it for this week's High, Wide, and Handsome. Check out High, Wide, and Handsome on social media. Check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. dropping clips from our show and as much other cool stuff as we can get out as well. Check out our parent operation, the Arson Brothers Entertainment, their page as well, dropping cool stuff there, videos and things. And of course, subscribe right here to the Arson Brothers Network on YouTube, where you can catch, of course, High, Wide, and Handsome, other shows such as Arson Brothers Eats, Exploring Appalachia, travel vlogs, and more.
Right.
Yeah,
Come
so
to
much
track,
good
eat a
stuff
bologna
all
sandwich
across
with us.
Yeah, I heard eat a bologna sandwich, and I love that. So,
Well, I said come to the track and eat a bologna sandwich with us.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah, we will share our bologna. Take it how you will. That's on you. All right, gentlemen, it's been a blast. We will be back next week. We say good night and good luck.